Hey there, I'm Alex, and today I wanted to cover something that's hopefully going to be helpful to a lot of you out there. Over the years working in both film and commercials, I've had the need to mix between cameras. So where one camera comes in, but then you have another one that does an action or does a landing. So if let's say just recently I had to do a shot where a camera is coming out from outer space, but then it needs to blend into a camera that's been shot from a drone. So of course you can't have one continuous camera, but you're creating one in CG for the outer space stuff, and then you're landing or handing over to the drone footage camera, right? So throughout the years I've done it in a various different ways, but I figured I'd just take the time to put something together for me mainly, and since it seemed to do the job pretty well, I figured I'd share it with you. So I'm going to share a link down in the description where you can get this tool. So let me show you exactly what I mean. So what I have here, right, if I go ahead and hit play here, is we have two cameras, right? So camera one going towards the red sphere, and then camera two going towards the red cube. The thing is, like I was saying before, sometimes you have the need to dissolve between cameras, be it because you're handing over from one to the other, or because you have one that's filtered other than what isn't filtered, then you need to smoothly dissolve. And not only that, but what I like about this is you can keep it live, so that link between the cameras stays live, so there's no baking, none of that stuff. Um, so like I said, I have two cameras here, right? And let's say that we want to go from we want to use the animation of camera one for the beginning, but then we want the landing to happen on the camera two animation, right? So how do we create that in between camera? I mean, there's several ways of doing it, but to me, I created this and it seems to do the job pretty well. Um, so this is what you're going to be getting, right? It comes in a bit of a bundle, right? So you have the control portion, and then you have the camera that is resulting from the merge of those two other cameras, right? LERP, I call it LERP cam just because LERP is an expression. You can look it up. It's quite common, and it's actually one of my favorite things to use. So I use the LERP expression quite a bit, and it just made sense to use it for this. So how does this work, right? So you open your camera mix control here, right? And it's going to ask you to input the name of your first camera and the name of the second camera. So of course I have it at default, so it's camera one and camera two. So if we look through each scanline render here, right? So this is camera one, right? So we're just going into the green sphere, and then camera two is going into the red sphere. Again, if we look at it through here, right, through our scene, then that's exactly what's happening, right? So going back to camera mix control, I'm going to say, because I know the name of my camera, I'm going to say camera 1 and camera 2, right? And now if we select our LERP camera here, you'll see it should expression link. Oh, I added spaces. That's not good. So you want camera 1 and camera 2. All right, and then LERP camera. So that's very important. The camera name needs to be very precise, otherwise it's not going to pick it up. So now the LERP camera, you see there's expression lines going out from it, right? So what's happening in the LERP camera is that all the fields are expression linked and controlled by the camera mix control. So if we look at the scene here, right, and in this scene node, I just have everything selected. I'm going to go ahead and connect that new camera, right? So our new camera here. We just select outside here so we can see it more clearly. And then if we play this back, it looks like nothing's happening, right? So where's our LERP camera? So you see we have that dissolve slider down here. And if I start moving it, you see we start animating the transition, right? So the dissolve between one camera and the other. So that's what's cool about this. Let's say we want to keep the animation up to frame 10, sticking to camera 1, so we set this to 0. We can keyframe it, which is the cool thing about this. And then we go to frame 40, and then we set it to 1. So 1 means that it's been completely now animating to the second input of our cameras here. So now if I slide through, you see we have our LERP camera sticking to camera 1, and then at frame 10 it starts slowly going over to camera 2, and then it just sticks the landing, right? So of course, just like any other animatable and available in Nuke, you can just select, go to curves. You can just soften those curves. You can ease them. You can add as many keyframes as you want. You can have it back and forth. So it's pretty flexible, and that's what I like about this. You don't have to bake anything. You don't have to. You just control it on the fly, so you can quickly iterate without really committing much. And then so if I now go and connect our new camera here to the camera input on our third scanline render, what you'll see here is we start, let's see, we start and then we just pivot over to the other camera. So it's quite nice. So if you look here, right, what we'll see here is we have camera 1, camera 2, and then we see the behavior of lerp camera, right? And what's nice about this is, again, just the flexibility of being able to just go in and tweak your keyframes, tweak your curves, however you see fit. So it's like, oh, we actually want to go the other way around. Well, you have two options. You can either change, like switch the names over, or you can just go to the keyframes and say, instead of the soft 1, I want to put 0. And this one, I want it to be 1 instead. So now we land on the green sphere instead. So it's quite nice. It stays live and it's all expression linked. So of course you need to keep your other two cameras live in the script, but it is hopefully something that's gonna save you some time. But more than that, it's just the flexibility. So something to keep around in your arsenal. I think it's gonna make it. That's gonna do it for today. All right. Cheers. Bye.